Hey everyone, welcome to part 5 of Revision, and today we're going to put the Skillard Garage 240Z style bumpers on the 280. The front bumper should be pretty straightforward. It's a few bolts on the outside, I'll show you. It's kind of 2 on each bracket and then 1 on each corner. And then there's the little valance here that'll have to come off as well. Those are a couple small bolts here and there. And then once the main bumper is off, then it's the chassis mount for the large bumper. So those are 3 bolts per side. So it's not too hard, but it's been on the car since 1977. So I'm assuming it'll fight me just a little bit, but we'll see. For the rear bumper, that's a different story. You have to drop the gas tank to get the rear bumper off. So this is the Skillard piece. It's a powder-coated aluminum piece. It provides a lot of adjustability up and down on the chassis itself, and then the bumper mounts even have a lot of forward and backwards. So it's pretty adjustable depending on the kind of look you want for your car, but also kind of what you're capable to do with your car. I'm pretty much maxed out on height, and then forward, backwards. We're probably 3/4 of the way, almost fully forward. We've jacked up the rear of the car, and we have to remove the gas tank. So currently, Chris is undoing the bottom 2 fuel lines. Once we do that, we can start unbolting the gas tank. Now that all this is off, so this hose is a little bit fragile. This hose you gotta be careful with, that is also real fragile. And the filler neck is not actually damaged in any way like I thought it was. I'm thinking the hose clamp just wasn't on all the way. So we'll get a new hose clamp on there. Other than that, the tank looks fine. So now we are ready to drop the bumper. Similar to the front, you got 2 bolts for the mount on either side. And then for the actual mount, you got 2 back there. Got this little cap right here on the outside. So you gotta pop that off and there'll be a screw in there. Okay. Oh shit, this one's heavy. This is a lot heavier than the rear bumper. So we've got 3 of the brackets, or 3 of the bolts for this off. Inside the trunk you can see there are 3 bolts in there. By removing those, that'll drop the bracket. I apologize as I was not recording it, but we got the driver's side bracket out, and you don't actually have to remove the exhaust. You don't have to move the muffler if you don't want to, but you do have to unbolt it. I unbolted it front and rear on this, and just kind of flipped it upside down and took it out, which is what I would recommend on that side. You kind of flip it upside down and pull it out from the bottom. Shout out to my friend Gerry from work. He brought over his whole welding equipment, his whole little setup, and we went to town on the back of the Z. Skillard actually provides, you can purchase these when you purchase the front and rear bumpers, but they have rear bumper delete plates for 260, 280 to fill these holes that are left by the gas shocks at the rear of the car. So we kind of had to do the welding in 2 stages. We started filling the 1 plate and then ran out of gas. So then we were like, all right, let's just take this fender piece off. This is, if you've seen the back of the Z before, you'll see that it's kind of more of a body accentuation piece that they added for 77 and 78. The earlier cars, 260s primarily and early 280s, did not have this piece. It was a design element they added later to the car, which I don't think looks bad, but I like how it looks without. I like the classic 240 look. But of course, I kept the piece just in case I ever want to go back. So as you can see right here, I'm just grinding off all the surface rust that's on the car. Thankfully, it's not anything more than just surface rust. Water just kind of seeped in those gaps over the past 45 years and kind of corroded the surface. The right rear of this car was struck at one point, and we could kind of see underneath kind of where they fixed it. And some of it's good repair work, and some of it's not so great. But you know, again, it's a 45-year-old car. You know, there was bound to be Bondo on it. Now that I've finished angle grinding, I'm just gonna throw a light coat of primer on this just to protect the metal. Again, the car will probably be painted in the next year or two, so this is a very temporary thing. Once we got the plates welded in and the welds cleaned up, you can see Gerry applying the 3M body filler just to smooth it all out. I go back later and primer these. So this is the Skillard Grille. You can get it in different lengths and different finishes. So I chose the full length to close up the entire gap that is normally left when you take off the front valance. This is the largest one you can get, I believe. I also got it powder coated black. You can get it just left aluminum like you see my bumpers, but I wanted to keep the grille a little anonymous. That's why I went for the powder coated black and the raw aluminum bumpers. So just a quick test fit here. You can see I put the bracketry on just to get it to fit. And this kit comes with literally everything. This is super easy to fit on. So now we're looking at the Motorsport air dam. There's a little bit of this that I didn't record just because I was too excited to just start working on it and get it to fit on the car. But we drilled 4 holes first underneath the headlight buckets, 2 on each side, to roughly hold the air dam where I wanted it to be. Once I got that dialed in, I kind of started massaging those holes to give myself a little bit of adjustability. And then we drilled the smaller holes on either end, just in front of the front wheel, where there's a threaded fender tab in there that holds the air dam up. Okay, so we've got our holes drilled. It mounts up just fine, it's all good. But the Skillard Grille is kind of touching this section here. We're gonna trim this little bit to get the top part of the grille just kind of in this little notch right here. So I'm gonna tape this off just to kind of give myself a boundary so I know where I'm going. The other side is a lot thinner. I'm gonna just kind of give us a little trim right here on the edge just to see if I can get it to kind of slide in. Kind of done with the front end for right now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna mess with the interior. So, pulled the center console out. I got a shift boot from Shirts Tucked In. Super cool. It's got yellow stitching to actually outside of the car. I think it's a nice little touch. When I pulled the old shift boot off, I noticed the inner shift boot, the one on the floor, totally disintegrated. So we're gonna pull that off and we're gonna put a new one on. This is a genuine Nissan part, thanks to Motorsport. This piece, that'll go on the floor. And then in this, we've got 2 copper bushings to go on either side of the shift lever to kind of firm it up a little bit. And then we've got a new pin and a new retaining clip also in here. You can also get this from Motorsport. Remove the circlip from the pin, and you're gonna just pull the pin out. And now your linkage is free. I think the MSA air dam and the Skillard bumper and the Skillard grille and the Clears corner lights have made this thing look a lot better up front. And again, in the rear with the Skillard bumper, I think it looks pretty good. Moving forward, there's more mechanical things we have to do to the car, but for now, visually, thanks for everybody who helped work on this. Gerry in particular for welding all the holes in the back. Of course, Chris, Josh, Sean, and Tyler. Thank you guys all for lending the hand. There will be more coming. It'll all be kind of mechanical from here on out. This is kind of the biggest visual thing I wanted to take care of, especially this year. At the beginning of the year, I mentioned I wanted to do paint this year, but financially, I don't think that's really feasible. There are Still some more things that I think should be addressed before we get painted, but yeah, this is it, man. This is the Z now. Completely different looking car. Stay tuned for more episodes of Revision. We'll do mechanical stuff next year, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.